Okay, so this is a story about how Find Your Path Academy was born. A while back, I felt inspired to write a book about the things I'd been learning and blogging about and the systems I'd been able to create and how they were principle-based and connective and why that was so important. And so I started that work, and as I was in the middle of writing it, I had this feeling that I needed to go learn more about facilitating at a ropes course. My daughter had done it before she left on a mission for our church, and it just kept having this nagging feeling like I needed to go and learn more about that experience, probably because of how much she told me she learned and how much she enjoyed the groups and how transformational the experience was for all of them. So I talked to the owner, and he allowed me to go and get trained and do groups every once in a while there and facilitate. And it really taught me how important these transformational experiences are for our learning. We don't do nearly enough of them in our education today. So I finished the book, and I had this thought that I should do a class on the book, and we could all go to the ropes course where I facilitated and do different activities that had to do with the chapters in the book. And so I did that class. I taught 4 different classes during the school year, and I loved it and I learned so much. But I kept having this feeling like there's more. We need to make sure these youth need more from this class. We don't have enough time to really delve deep into their gifts and talents and what they can do for the world. And so I wanted to make it longer, and I thought, well, I could start like a school, like a longer thing. And as this was working in my mind, we went on a humanitarian trip, which was the reason I did the class in the first place. I wanted to save money for our family. We have a large family of 10, and it was difficult to raise money to go on a humanitarian trip. So the class was a means for us to be able to do that. And so we went on this humanitarian trip, and on the way home, I was just torn because I had learned to love these kids so much. They had told me their stories. They had shared their love with me, and saying goodbye to all of them was so hard. And they cried and we cried, and it was just so hard to say goodbye. So I'm in the car and I'm crying for like an hour, and I'm just praying to Heavenly Father, and I'm like, what can I do? You know, let me know, like, if I need to sell my house and move to Mexico, then, you know, I'll do it. But I don't know how to start. What do I do? And the first thought that came was that I should write them each a letter to let them know that I was thinking of them and that I would miss them. And then the next thought was starting to come into my mind, and I just kept writing things down all the way home. It was a 10-hour drive, so I had plenty of time to think. And it was just how to form this school, how to make this be a humanitarian school where we are actually doing entrepreneurship projects, not just understanding and using our gifts, but using them for something that mattered, so we could learn from them and they could feel our love. And I wanted to get there for my family, but then I realized like other families need to see this too. They need to be influenced in this way. And I feel like that's what Heavenly Father was asking me to do, is to be able to find ways to get other families out there. And so a little later, we were given a nonprofit organization that nobody was doing anything with. And that was perfect because this was a very nonprofit type of work. The whole purpose was to lift families here and to go and use our resources to lift families in other parts of the world. So that's how the whole idea was born, and that's where we're at right now. But we do need a lot of help. We need people to be willing to mentor and help, and youth to come and spread the word, and to be willing to, you know, do some social media posts or different things to help other people know about it, and to get donations so that we can have the equipment and the things we need to grow these resources. Right now we've planted a pumpkin patch and we have some chickens and rabbits, but we still have a long ways to go. We want to acquire some greenhouses, especially for meeting in the winter. Right now we'll have fire pits, and we have a couple of classrooms available to us at Class Ropes Course. You should listen to episode 6 on my podcast, which talks about how Benjamin Allen just donated some land for us to use while we're there, and his whole story about why he thinks this is important too. So that's how this idea was born, and I hope that you're as excited about it as I am, and are thinking of ways that you can also help and contribute to this important work. One of the biggest blessings that has come from all of this is the opportunity I've had to meet some incredible people who also feel inspired and passionate about this school, and how they've come, and I've just been blessed that when I just felt really weighed down, that someone would come in and come into my life and take over things. And I just know that Heavenly Father's hand is in this work, and that He is orchestrating people to come and help, and that's been such a blessing. So I asked some of them to share why they're doing this and some of the leadership responsibilities they've chosen to take on and why. And so I hope that their stories are inspiring to you as well.